Welcome to Invest. We talk about investing, finance, and professional development. As the current time of 1:27 p.m. on Eastern Time on July 11th, Ethereum contracting $1,152, about 1.5% so far. Respect over crypto market and the equity market, we are relatively bearish across the entire day. It's been just kind of sliding off. We had a slight pump early this morning. But subsequent to that, we've been just sliding like a gradual escalator downwards from there. In addition to the massive catalyst that we're going to be expecting coming up in the next 48 to 56 hours, obviously with respect to the corporate earnings, from the first one off the press coming up would be from obviously Delta, and obviously from another consumer company, Pepsi, I believe, which will depict on their guidance. On how they're fighting inflationary pressure, supply chain issues, obviously gas prices rising, all of these conundrum onto depicting their outlook going forward, right? So that's like the first piece of material that we can use to make our inference of what Jerome's going to be doing. Another piece of the inference would be coming out from the CPI report that's coming out on Wednesday, right? And then subsequent to that, we also going to be getting earnings, I believe, on Thursday and Friday on a lot of the financial institutions like JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Citibank, etc., right? In addition to that news, we're also seeing some news that's percolating again. I mean, this is very logical. Talk about the activity among home buyers. It seems like there's been a lot of cancellations of transactions at a highest rate since the beginning of the pandemic. Which makes sense, right? With respect to the higher rates for mortgage payment, it costs more for you to borrow the same amount of money that you used to buying a house, right? Despite how cheap the house is, right? You have to be borrowing more money despite the down payment that you put in for a long durated time going forward. So, which subsequently hinder the real estate market to be declining from there. In addition to that, also I'm seeing news around the presidential election for 2024. Seems like there's some buyer's remorse around the elections for obviously Joe Biden's administration. But in terms of a survey, talk about is the comparison between Biden and Trump. Seems like despite their lack of confidence or lack of satisfaction with Biden's presidential administration so far, with Trump's possibility of re-elected, that still doesn't convey a lot of confidence. But obviously they're comparing the two, try to stir more fire into the press. It is what it is, but nothing really obviously directly pointed towards the crypto side. But I do understand that if the Republican side was to be re-elected again, Wall Street should subsequently go up from there, right? It's because of that, most of the Wall Street folks are, controlled by Republicans. So, which is the reason why, if we were to see, a re-election from someone that's in the Republican side of the country, we would ideally see a reversal, and obviously upward trend across the equity and the crypto market as well. So we'll see how that goes. Still far out, but there's some like foreshadowing type of hypothesis that's coming out on the news. So let's just dive right into the technical without wasting more time. It's a record time of 1:31 p.m. on Eastern Time. We are at 11:50 right now. So levels down again, right? It's gonna be 10:50, and then subsequent to that will be 9:50, all the way down to 7:50 as the next level of real substantiveness, right? And we're going to see some bullish pressure because let's say we get surprise from the corporate earnings, we get surprise from the CPI report, we get positive signal across the spectrum, we should technically go up to the next level of 1250. But my gut feel is that because of all the factors that needs to align all the way up until the upcoming FOMC meeting, which we have about like 2 weeks out approximately, that's for the probability of all the alignments, I guess the constellations align, would be tough, right? So and also at the same time the technical has been dragged up for quite some time on a daily, and also it's been relatively bearish on the RSI front as well. But the weekly and monthly going forward, that as we get over this hump, right, get over all of these macro catalysts in the next couple of weeks, right, on a monthly perspective is quite nice, right? We're showing that we're pretty much depleted on the overall technical front on the weekly and monthly. So what it says is that basically a month or month and a half out, we should technically be, going up from here, okay? And then for Bitcoin, I would say the same thing, right? Going up from here, months and weeks out. But for daily, we should see some short-term volatility on the negative side as well, going down to obviously to 19,500, 18,500, all the way to 17,500. And I think the likelihood, because of the large separation that we have to below 1,700, all the way to 15,000, 17,000, sorry, to 15,000 would be very logical, right? Then I would say this is pretty much applicable to the overall market, not just specifically for Bitcoin. I'm talking about also on the equity side as well. Just look at Tesla as a reference. You could see that we're clearly, been zigzagging, and at the same time, inertia is not the best, right? You could see that we need to kind of cross down and cross up. But with respect to the weekly front, you could see that we have been relatively stale, right? Flat, but you need to kind of leap up eventually. So weekly and monthlies, both look quite nice. So if you're buying around this time, I wouldn't worry too much about it, but obviously it's kind of a long-term mindset, right? All right, so appreciate you for joining me again. I have a meeting coming up, so I have to prep ahead and also get some coffee because I'm dying right now. I'm really tired for some reason. I think I probably didn't sleep so well last night. I'm under the weather. My head is really, really hurting today. So yeah, let me know how it goes, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions. If you want to do a one-on-one with me, reach out to me on my Patreon, and we could schedule something from there. So have a good one, and appreciate you. Take care.